Thank you for joining us for this training, Intentional Leadership in Faith-Based Organizations, being put together by Overseas Leadership Academy. At Overseas Leadership Academy, our vision is to raise a new generation of credible, accountable, and ethical leaders in Africa that will propel the continent toward a sustainable economic growth and human capital development. And our mission is to provide a top-notch quality, specialized, and standard leadership training with a specific concentration on the government, the business, and the social sectors to produce leaders who are cut for the job. Our training program runs in two formats. The first format is the standard leadership training that runs for 12 months with the full curriculum, and the second format is the specialized leadership training. Under this specialized leadership training, we currently have three programs running. The first one is intentional leadership in nation building, specifically designed for public sectors or civil servants or government workers. We also have women in leadership training, specifically designed for young girls between ages 17 to 30 across Africa to train, equip, and mobilize them for leadership position and also give them and also provide a mentoring opportunity. And the third one is the intentional leadership in faith-based organizations, which is specifically designed for leaders in faith-based sector, which is what we are having today. I'm your facilitator for this training, and my name is Abiodun Adeleke. I'm a social sector public speaker, leadership coach, author, and playwright. And I'm also into Christian apologetics. I'm a passionate learner with an unquenchable thirst for excellence. My passion for quality leadership in Africa led to the founding of Overseas Leadership Academy. And I'm also leading the team at Golden Overseas Spring Foundation. Golden Overseas Spring Foundation is the parent body of the academy. I currently sit on the board of trustees of Women of Concerned Professionals and Strategic Conscious Networking, a New York-based non-profit organization that is committed to community development, gender equality, and gender equity. I'm very passionate when it comes to sexual and gender-based violence, and I'm the international chair of Working in Silence for the Silenced, a global annual domestic violence solidarity walk, which is an initiative of WCPSCN. In my quest for academic enrichment in the social sector, I've had to take different courses at Philanthropy University and the Open University. Currently pursuing my master's in theology, I pastor the Teens Church of Jakonde District of Foursquare Gospel Church in Nigeria. Here are some of my published works. Father and Son, the Superiority Controversy looks at the claim by some religious organizations that the father is inferior, that the son is inferior to the father, that the father is actually superior to the son because he created the son by, in a way, diminishing or reducing the divinity of the son. Mirage is a play that chronicles the challenges of Africa, looks at the challenges and also prefers solution as ways forward. Absolute truth versus relative truth looks at the philosophy that truth, by some, that truth is relative, in line with the biblical fact that truth is absolute. And the last one here is hell real, is actually a response to some teachings by some religious groups that hell is not real. Under this training, we will be looking at 11 modules for the training, and these are the 11 modules. So a little bit of introduction before we go into the training proper. The word leadership is an action word, which signifies the need for action to achieve a common goal or a set target. Leadership is not a dormant word, it's an active word. So you can't claim to be a leader without doing anything. And this has made the need for leadership training inevitable, as leaders and followers must all see themselves as allies and not competitors in the quest for a fulfilled vision. In the non-profit sector or the social sector where faith-based organizations belong, leadership training is as important as in the business or the government sector. But unfortunately, many Faith-based organizations often assume that leadership training is of less relevance when it comes to spiritual matters. And that's a wrong assumption. As long as there is a vision and a mission to be accomplished, without neglecting the well-being of the leader, leadership training that cut across work-life balance, emotional intelligence, effective communication, and others have become inevitable for the attainment of visions and set goals of the ministry. More importantly, as faith-based leaders are custodians of spiritual responsibilities, leadership training is inevitable in a world that is desperately in need of credible leaders across all sectors. Before we go into the training proper, there are three reflections that I would like you to sit down, ponder over, and get back with your thought. The first reflection says, when you think of leadership, what comes to your mind? The second reflection says that despite the proliferation of churches and ministries, iniquity, corruption, unfaithfulness, and different kinds of vices are on the increase. Why? So much churches springing up on a daily basis, maybe even on an hourly basis, because the rate at which churches are multiplying, is somehow scary. But despite that, we don't seem to be seeing the corresponding effect on the society. It's like the more the churches, the more the ministries, the more the faith-based organizations coming up, the more the evil, the more the iniquity, the more the corruption. Why? We've often heard some people, turn their results, flaunt their results as if, all that matters is the results. And some will even say, even if you don't believe in what we do, if you don't believe in the way we do things, at least you can see the results. Kidnappers have results to show they have money. Armed robbers have results to show they flaunt their wealth. But what about the principles that produce that result? Are we to neglect the principles and celebrate the result? That's irrespective of the principle that produce the results. So now the question is why? Which among the two to you is more important? Is it the result or the principles? Please get back with your thought. Now, what is leadership? The word leadership encompasses the ability of an individual, not only of an individual, even of a group or organization to lead, influence, or guide other individuals, teams, or an entire organization. So when we talk about leadership, we are looking about leading, not just leading, influencing, guiding, inspiring, and helping others to become their best selves. So when you lead people, or you lead yourself, or you lead an organization, or an organization is leading another organization to achieve a goal, to achieve a common goal, to fulfill a purpose, that is leadership. Or when you are influencing someone, your life is influencing someone, knowingly or unknowingly, it is still a form of leadership. Or you are producing guidance, to ensure that people get it right, they don't make mistakes in life, they follow the right path, to do things, they do things the right way. You are giving guidance. That is also a form of leadership. Even if all you do is to inspire people, to give hope, to encourage them to greatness, inspire them, motivate them to achieve, to go forward, be the best, that is still a form of leadership. And if you are also helping others to become their best selves, you look at people, you see their potentials when they are not even seeing the potential themselves, and you help them to bring out that potentials and become the best, of what they can be. That is also a form of leadership. So when we are not talking about a leader is simply someone who leads, influences, inspires, or guides someone or other people towards achieving a goal or a purpose. So if you are not guiding someone, if you are not leading someone, if you are not influencing someone towards achieving a goal or a purpose, then that is not leadership. Because there must be somewhere that you are taking that person to, there must be a destination, there must be a vision you are helping that person to achieve or fulfill. There are three critical things that define leadership. The first one is the big picture. You can see the man in binocular is looking at something, but obviously, whatever he's looking at is not near, it's not in, it's now, either in the near future or the distant future. And I think this picture here helps us to capture that, more better. You can see the young boy in his present condition, in his present state, but he's looking at the mirror and he's seeing the big picture, he's seeing the future, he's seeing the destination, he's seeing where he's going. So the big picture. In leadership, in every form of leadership, there must be a big picture. There must be a destination, there must be a goal, there must be a vision. And the second critical thing that defines leadership is direction. For example, if you are going somewhere and you don't know your way, and somebody say, "Please go to the next," just move down the road, you see a signboard that will point to where the direction of where you are going, and you get here, and you saw something like this. Of course, you'll be more confused. More, the more than you'll be more confused. Just more confused before the way you came. But if you see a singular arrow going in this direction, it simply means that take this direction, you get where you are going. Direction is very key, very important. If you don't know the direction to your big picture, you don't know the direction to get to the destination where you are going, direction to get to your vision, you'll just be roaming about. The third thing is order. In the absence of order, you have chaos. And in the presence of chaos, you can't move forward, you can't make progress, you can't even achieve the set goals or the vision that you want to achieve. The story that better captured this is the story of the children of Israel and Moses in the wilderness. They had a big picture, Canaan land, the promised land. That's the destination, that's the vision, that's the goal. Direction, the wilderness. But in the absence of order, what happened? They had chaos. And actually, it was this chaos that led to Moses not getting to the promised land. Because when you have chaos, disorderliness, misunderstanding, a whole lot of things, will just go on, there, there won't be sanity. And this actually got Moses, got him hungry. He had to hit the rock when he was actually told to speak to the rock. That is what chaos does. So, in the absence of these three, the leadership of an organization, the leadership of a ministry, or even the leadership of a country is said to be a failure. No big picture, there's no vision, no destination, no goal, no clear-cut direction of how to get there. And as you are going on the way, there is no order, you can't achieve the set goal. So when we talk about intentional leadership, we're simply talking about the kind of leadership that is deliberate, purposeful on what they do. An intentional leader doesn't try things out. They are clear in their mind of what they want to do and why they are doing it. So whatever they do is done deliberately on purpose because they know what they want to achieve. They don't try things out. They don't say, okay, let's try it after. If it doesn't work, we'll try another means. Or, well, we don't know. We don't know which way will lead. Let's keep trying. Let's keep trying. No, 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 no. And intentional leader does not keep trying. They are clear on what they want to do and they sit down, set out, and do the job. There are some common traits of intentional leadership. The first one is clarity of purpose. In intentional leadership, there is clarity of purpose. They are clear about what they want to do and also clear about how to do it. As a matter of fact, purpose gives direction. They also have a sustained focus. They have their eyes on the goal. They don't take their eyes off the goal. They are deliberate, they are focused on the goal, and they sustain that focus. They also understand that the reason for going through what they are going through, either palatable or not palatable, discomfort, pain, sacrifices, or whatever, they understand that the reason, that the goal is the reason, as in the reason for doing that, the reason for going through all those stages of life, going through all those inconvenience, is because of the goal. And I think Apostle Paul in Philippians chapter 3, verse 14 captured that better when he said, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. So, you, despite the pain, despite the near death experience, despite the beatings, you will be wondering, he kept moving. Why didn't he give up? He had a perfect understanding that the goal is the reason, that the reason he had to go through all those things was to enable him to get to the destination, the goal. He said, I press forward toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. When I was going through all those difficult situations, his focus was sustained on the goal. Traits of intentional leadership. And these are the same traits that we also need to have in our lives. Clarity of purpose. We need to be clear so that uh, even somebody will not just wake up one day and say, bro, it's not working. But if you are clear of what you are doing and how to go about it, of course, it might take time. Sustained focus and also understanding that the goal is the reason. Before we go on to module 2, there's an activity here that I would like us to do and get back with your response. The first one says, among the 3 common traits of intentional leadership, take anyone and tell us how it resonates with you. Is it the clarity of purpose? Is it a sustained focus, or is it understanding that the goal is the reason? Just take any one of these, apply it to your life, and tell us how it resonates with you. And the second activity says, which among the 3 is less important? Meaning, which among the 3 can you do without? Which among the 3 do you think is of less importance? Kindly get back with your response.